Alright YouTube, so this movie pitch is a little different from what I usually do, as this is the Jones Beach Star Wars movie pitch, but this one is sort of completely, or well, almost completely from scratch, and it's not really necessarily, well, technically it's a sequel, but a very distant sequel, and pretty much a soft reboot, so to speak. So I'm really excited to give you guys this movie pitch idea I have for a Star Wars movie. And before I do, I will display the image of the inspiration behind this vlog, which was a forum filled with a few actors and actresses that would be cool in Star Wars. And I agree, this is definitely an all-star cast, not to the point where it's like, too distracting, but also people that I think would fit well in the franchise. And it's a little hard to pinpoint who would be who in this Jones Beach Star Wars movie, but if this vlog does well and you guys like it, I'll probably continue with more on this note. So here it is. Here's the drawing of all those actors and actresses that would be great for the Star Wars movie. So give a little view of the cast. So yeah, I'm really excited to give you guys this movie pitch. So this movie takes place on a distant, far planet, but unlike Jakku and Tatooine, this one is a very cold planet, like freezing cold, and that's why there are so many AT-AT remains, as well as other Hoth-like vehicles and Hoth-like bases from back when the Rebels fought the Empire, and many of those abandoned ships, buildings, and AT-ATs are used as homes, shelters, and emergency shelters, as well as things such as restaurants and food and entertainment for pretty much the whole civilization on this planet. This is Keanu Reeves' character, who is arguably the main character of this movie, and his character is a gray Jedi who lives on this planet, and although the war is currently over, he does fear and is on the lookout for his old apprentice returning. His apprentice, similar to Anakin Skywalker, fell to the dark side, and the very dark side, as you can imagine. Keanu Reeves' character in this Jones Beach movie is a gray Jedi, so he's not afraid to explore a little bit of dark side ideology. So, to lose an apprentice is a big loss for him. And these are those drawings of the AT-AT remains that I spoke about. And as for the apprentice, the gray Jedi did not see his apprentice die directly, but tons of echoes go through sound about rumors of his death. And throughout this movie and the movies after in the series, we see a lot of the psychological pain that the gray Jedi dealt with as a result of losing his apprentice to his enemies, and we see all the flashbacks, and although nothing is confirmed, we're left with a lot of audience to theorize on what happened exactly with the apprentice and why he fell to the dark side. So once again, I'll pin the image of the Dreamcast for this movie that I saw in the forum. And I will say, since this is my first, sort of from scratch Star Wars movie pitch, that it's hard to pin a character, an actor, an actress on who they'll play. So, we'll get to that later. But overall, this would definitely be a stellar cast, to say the least, which I'm really happy that Star Wars Starfighter has a stellar cast as well. And logistically, this movie has a lot of action and fight scenes, especially from the Grey Jedi. And we hear later he learns about the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker and realizes that he's in a similar situation, and that history has repeated itself, where he feels on one hand intense guilt that he wasn't able to learn from Obi-Wan's mistakes. However, he does later adopt a new apprentice, a girl on the planet, and he vows not to fail her like he failed his first apprentice, and he's definitely learning from his mistakes. From there, he's determined to start a new Jedi Order. There's a subplot in this movie where there's a word, myth, rumor, whatever you want to call it, about an invisible planet similar to Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and this planet is filled with so much knowledge and so many valuables that you can imagine the desire and demand for this alleged planet. This planet does in fact exist, although it is off the record, and they try to make sure no one knows about this planet, the galactic government that is. They try to make it as, off the books, off the record, leave us alone as they can. As you can imagine, with the Star Wars government aspect, there's definitely a lot of intergalactic conflict and whatnot about this. So to conclude, I'll show some of the drawings and concept art I showed for this movie pitch. So here is the cast of characters. Here's a storyboard concept art that I'm really proud of. So overall, this movie would go for a similar yet different feeling as the other Star Wars movies, as it references them all but sort of tries to build its own self. And all this while having an all-star cast and starting a new series of galactic wars. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for soon. Goodbye.